ahead, Mike.
It's not that I listen to all of it, and if you bring me proof and clues, facts, and evidence, I'll listen to it. Absolutely. But this guy, he's so.
I tell you what.
This guy's in La La Land.
I wish I had time right now because I would look it up myself. Yeah. Okay. And then, Deborah Howard, thank you so much. Because I'm gonna tell you something, guys. I tell you something, guys. If you vote for that clown, that orange buffoon, then you are really voting against women. That means that you really don't respect women if you vote for that fool, because he's trying to take away your mothers, your daughters, your cousins, your sisters, your neighbors. You're trying to take away their rights. Their rights.
Which rights?
Their rights. Their rights to control their own body. Mike, you and I and any other, I or any other knucklehead has no right to tell a woman what she do to her body. We sit up there in our big chairs, we're going to dictate to a woman what she should do to her body. When is the last time you had a baby? When is the last time you had a baby?
May I answer?
Okay, all right. Case closed. Now, and then, Deborah.
I'm not allowed to answer?
Yeah. You had one?
I do have an answer, but you don't let me get in here to speak.
Yeah.
You're talking about women's rights.
When was the last time you had a baby?
Is it my turn to talk?
I'll wait.
Okay, that's all I'm waiting for.
Yes,
we are talking about abortion. Are we talking about abortion rights?
We are talking about women's abortion rights, her human rights, her right to decide what has to do with her body.
Okay. That was
the last time I said you and I can't carry a baby. You and I never had a baby. You and I never nursed a baby. We don't know anything
what a baby is. I know what a human life is.
Well, shucks, everybody know what a baby is. A dog.
May I answer? William, there's no use in us having this show if you're not going to allow me to answer.
Okay, I might go on.
I'd like to answer.
Yes, sir. Please. I apologize.
So we are talking about abortion rights and the right of a woman to control her own body. That's a yes or no.
Yes.
It's a yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking about the right of now, by the way, I know what a baby is. I know what a human life is. Mm-hmm. So just because I can't give birth doesn't mean that I don't understand human rights. So we're talking about a woman's right to be able to murder an innocent child, an innocent baby in her womb. Is that the right that we're talking about?
I take offense to the use of murder when it's a medical procedure. I take offense to that.
We're going to use pretty terminology.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna put a bow on it.
When it's done, is the baby alive or dead?
Well, it depends.
After an abortion, is the baby alive or dead?
Of course not. That's the whole idea of an abortion.
It's dead.
There are various reasons. There are various reasons.
Say the words. The vast majorities are not about medical emergency, and you damn well know.
Mike, that's a lie. That's a lie.
All these abortions are medical emergencies.
Yes, sir. The vast are. There are stats.
Then there's nothing I can say to convince you that they're murdering babies and women that are innocent. That has nothing to do with what's going on.
Let me just share something with you. If a woman is using abortion as a birth control method, that is wrong.
Vast majority do.
Nope. You can't say that, Mike. You have no proof. No, Mike, I'm not going to let you spew that on this network because that's not true. That is not
all of these babies. All these babies that are aborted are not viable?
It depends on the situation because some women's lives or the baby's life is in jeopardy.
Now, very few. Look up the stats. Very few, but an extremely small percentage.
I tell you what, hey Mike, I tell you what. Without you spewing that garbage on
all of you listening in, look up the stats on medical emergency abortions, and you'll see the percentage is extremely small.
You have two computers there. Look it up and give me some stats. Give me some stats.
I can't look stuff up while I'm trying to talk to you.
Okay. Well, let me talk a little bit and then look it up. Let me just share this with you. You are wrong. The vast amount. Okay. Deborah Howard wants to know what proof do you have to say what you're saying, Mike? So while I'm talking, look it up and give us some stats. Okay.
Don't take my word for it. I want people to look it up themselves. Don't take my word for it. Look it up.
Mike, no. You said it. Prove it. Okay. Let me just share something with you. You are wrong. The vast amount. Let me talk a little bit and then look it up. Let me just share this with you. You are wrong. The vast amount. You have two computers there. Look it up and give me some stats. Give me some stats.
No. You said it. Prove it.
because it's stuff.
Okay,
I'm
well,
telling you,
give me a second. Give me a second to get on the other computer.
get on the other computer, and while you're doing that, I'm going to talk for a second, and I'm going to say this right now. I'll bet my last dollar that the vast amount of the vast number of abortions out here aren't done because a woman likes to go out and party, get pregnant, and then have an abortion. That is not an easy procedure. Okay, that's not an easy procedure. And I don't think many women would put their lives in danger like that. I think that what happens is some may go out, okay, and it's an unplanned pregnancy to get it, and you have some women that may want to abort that child, okay? But then also, it's up to that doctor as well, because I remember with Roe v. Wade, okay, with Roe v. Wade, there was rarely ever that a doctor did an abortion in the third trimester. Matter of fact, if it got late in the second trimester, they were a little leery about doing that. And the only time those procedures took place then because the mother's life was in danger. Now, what I'm telling you, I can prove it. I'm not just spewing out some facts or some things that I heard at the bar or some things that some of these right-wing talking goons are telling you guys. I should say buffoons, because half of them are jerks. Okay, and they're up there trying to tell a woman what to do with her body. You've never gone through 9 months of pregnancy, okay? And you have some out there that believe as soon as the sperm hits the egg and the woman that's a baby. That is not a baby.
It is. It's got its own DNA.
That's
got its own DNA.
Mike,
it is a growing
DNA everywhere. That is not a life, Mike. That is not a doctors. Okay, scientists have proven you wrong on that. Okay, Dr. Dimmer came on here several months ago and says, nope, if it doesn't have a brain, if it doesn't have a heartbeat, it's not a baby.
Okay, well, that's a great point you're making. That's a great point you're making. So when people have to be put on a pacemaker because their heart doesn't beat correctly, or they're in an accident and their brain doesn't function anymore, we should just go ahead and murder them, right?
No, that's ridiculous. And you know I'm not saying that.
People on life support because they can't live on their own should be murdered.
I didn't say that. That's not what I'm saying at all. Nope. You cannot, Mike. You can't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that. Okay.
You said if it doesn't have a brain, it doesn't have a heartbeat, it's not viable. No,
absolutely not. You have people right now that are living with pacemakers and have lived with them for a number of years. As a matter of fact,
and if you didn't murder that fetus and that child, it would be living as well, wouldn't it?
Mike, do you know what an atopical pregnancy is? You know what that is? That baby is living outside of the womb, and that baby will not survive.
Well, and it would damage the mother. I'm not saying that's not a medical procedure.
There have been babies that have been born.
But they're murdering fetuses. They are not murdering, Mike, in the womb that are viable if left to progress in growing and becoming human.
If the baby's not going to live, the baby's not going to live. There's no progress to be had there.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about all the viable babies that are murdered in the womb. I'm not talking the ones that are medically necessary.
Like I said, most times when there is an abortion, there is not a heartbeat, okay, and there's not a functioning brain, okay? It's not there, okay? But see, you are under the belief that that as soon as that sperm hit the egg, then that's a baby.
It has its own DNA.
DNA doesn't mean life. Unless you have something that's living, unless it's viable. If there's DNA everywhere, okay, that doesn't mean it says that it's living. We have DNA in us, okay.
So it's not. So once it's a fertilized egg, it's not living.
No, it is not living.
That's very interesting. I think medical doctors.
It's not a baby. It's not a baby.
Sure.
Oh yeah, you have something that's okay. Let me take that back. Okay, let's say they might have something that can live, but it is not a baby. It doesn't have a heart, Mike. It doesn't have a heartbeat. Okay, it doesn't have brain functions. And without those two things right there, you do not have a viable fetus. No, I'm not
Sure
a
you do.
doctor, but I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from
If you
doing these
murder it,
shows.
it's going to grow and to
Right.
become a viable.
So you saying
It's a baby.
from day one, from week one, and a woman find out, let's say, but most of them don't find out within the first several weeks or so. Okay, but let's say this woman, she gets pregnant, and it's a week later, in some way she found out or feel that she's pregnant. Okay, and she goes out and have an abortion. Are you trying to tell me she's killing a baby?
You're damn
That's
right I
what
am.
you're saying.
You're damn right. If it's a viable child, they're murdering that child.
That is wrong, and I take offense to you saying murder because that's not it. Now, what about the woman that a woman goes to her doctor, and the doctor says there is a 50-50 or less than 50% chance that if you carry this to term that you're going to die.
Then obviously it's medical necessity.
Okay.
I'm talking about all the ones that are murdered that aren't medical necessities, which is the vast majority of them.
Then you let the officials, the police officials, or whoever, or you tell whoever is in charge, okay, that with charging her, locking her up, or whatever. You let and the court. You let the court decide that. You and I have no business in that. You and I can't tell another woman what to do. Are you going to pay her taxes? Are you going to pay her bills? Okay.
Oh, so it's a money thing. So if I have to murder the child in my womb because of my finances, that's okay.
I didn't say that.
You just did.
No, I did not. All I'm saying is
no one's going to pay her bills.
What I'm trying to say
that makes it a money thing.
No, what I'm trying to say is that you're all up in these people's business, but you're not going to take care of that child, are you?
Maybe she should have thought of that before she had sex, unprotected sex. There's 47 kinds of birth control for women in this world. She can't use one of them.
Well, you know
and
what?
The man is just as responsible, by the way.
The Republicans are trying to take that away. They're trying to take away birth control, and they're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to take away birth control, and they're also trying to take away the woman's right to choose. Oh, well, it's a fact. Look it up. Oh, they don't even want. They're even against IVF. People who want children that has to use in vitro fertilization. They're trying to take that away too. All what I'm saying is that knucklehead right wing Republican Party is the worst thing in the world, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're voting for those fools on the right, then you are voting against this country. You are anti-American as far as I'm concerned. Anti-American. All right? They're trying to take away all of your rights. They want to put tariffs on imports coming into the country. Okay? They're the reasons why we had an inflation problem in the first place. They're the reasons. All again, you vote for them, you are voting against women. Okay? And those men out there that claim that you love women, you think about that. When they're taking away your daughters, your mothers, your wives, okay, you take away their rights. And see, there's a time in this country where women couldn't even vote. You remember that? Didn't have rights then. All right? Along with us. Black folks couldn't vote. Okay? You only had a certain population that controlled everything, and they're trying to do it again. Okay? And I ain't having it. I'm not having it. Okay? They want to take us back to 1798. You know what was happening back in 1798? You know what was happening back then? There was slavery back then. They want to take us back there. Take us back to when women couldn't vote. Is that where you want to go? Is that where you want to go with this? Okay? They are making up lies. Lies, lies, lies. You know, that's why that fool is exhausted. Because he done told so much lies in a way, he's worn his own butt out. Okay? Lying. It is a doggone shame. All again, folks, I'm telling you right now. There's only one candidate in this race that's qualified. And I said qualified. Okay, a lot of you want to say DEI. You can go to hell with that. All right. And if you really knew what DEI is, if you really know what it is, then you would say, wow, you would welcome that. You would welcome that, because actually DEI isn't bad at all. Matter of fact, it's the thing that built this country, wasn't it? All right. You have with a diverse population, you have ideas, you have innovation, you have production. Okay. You have to look at all of this stuff. So to me, diversity, equity, inclusion. This is a DEI show. As a matter of fact, this is a DEI show. We have Ann on.
Oh, William, you did not pick me to be on this show because I'm a redneck white boy. You did not, and you know it.
I picked you because you were a smart dude and you happen to be white. And I said, yeah, this is a plus.
I have.
Okay. And she's a woman. She's a judge. Okay.
You didn't pick her because she's black.
See, diversity is not only a color thing. Diversity means all included. We want people from all walks of life with intelligence to share their views, share their opinions on this broadcast. Yeah, I thought that you being white.
So did you pick anyone on this panel? Did you pick anyone on this panel because of their gender or their race?
Yeah, I sure did.
So you have DEI people that are on this board.
Yeah, and it's great. This is what I'm trying to say, Mike. The right wing is trying to say DEI is a bad thing, but DEI is not a bad thing. Look at what it means: diversity, equity, inclusion. It doesn't mean that you're not qualified.
That's what happens.
You're as qualified as anybody on this program, Mike. Dr. Demery is as qualified as anybody, and Dr. Sims. Diversity and equity, inclusion.
Did you pick them by gender or race?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Racism.
I want a diverse panel. Yes, I want a diverse panel.
So.
What I'm saying, Mike, if you really knew what DEI meant, you would applaud what I'm saying. You would really applaud what I'm saying. Because what happens is the right wing.
William, you got to let me talk at some point.
Yeah, but Mike, you won't let me. Okay, let me finish, and then I'm pass it.
You've been talking for 15 minutes straight. I haven't interrupted you.
Oh, you haven't? Are you serious right now? Okay, I tell you what, Mike. Let me just step aside right now and say whatever you want to say uninterrupted. I promise you, buddy. Promise you.
So you're saying that you pick people on this panel because of their race or because of their gender. By the nature of what you just said, that's racism or sexism. And let me continue with what Biden did, because I have clearly stated here that Miss Harris, because I'm not sure which way to pronounce her first name because I get chewed out for doing it wrong. I mean no disrespect for her and her name. So Miss Harris, our vice president, Biden said in advance of her being selected, he said, he said, I'm going to pick a woman of color. That in itself is racism and sexism. Did he come out and say, I'm going to pick the finest person I can find to be my vice president? No, he did not. He said, I'm going to pick a woman of color. Now, if someone on the other side, the Republican said, I'm going to pick a white male, what do you think the public would do? It would be in total uproar. They would go nuts. They'd be screaming up through the skies. But it's okay for the Dems to do it. It's okay for them to say, oh, I'm going to pick a woman of color, rather than Biden saying, I'm going to pick the finest person, the most qualified person I can to help me fly this plane called the United States. Did he? Am I right or wrong?
You're right. So, and as a matter of fact,
that's your answer. So, it's okay.
Because that's exactly, it is okay. It is. I'm going to tell you, let me explain it to you.
Really?
Let me explain why.
So you're supporting racism and sexism.
That's not, just because you call it racism and sexism, I don't necessarily do that.
What else can you call it when you're selecting somebody by color or by gender or by race?
Mike, let me
what
tell
else
you
can you call it?
That's not racism, because guess what? He's trying to, just like affirmative action. At some point in time in this country, we need to level the playing field, because you have bright people. Okay, contrary to a lot of people, white people aren't the smartest people in the world all the time. Now there's some brilliant white people.
No one's. There's some dumb white people. I'm telling you.
And guess what? And I'm gonna share this with you.
But it comes in all races, forms, and sexes.
This is gonna shock you. And there's some dumb black people.
It's not a color thing.
This is what. But the difference is, who's been holding that office for centuries? They've been, other than President Obama, it's been all white male. When is the last time a woman won the presidency? Never. Hillary came close. She didn't bring it home. Okay. And Obama, and then Biden, for him saying, my VP is going to be a woman, and it's going to be a woman of color. What's wrong with that? Because guess what? A black woman.
It's racist and sexist.
No, it's not. Because you finally want to give.
Why didn't he say, I'm going to pick the best person
I don't know.
for the job?
Why don't you ask him, Mike? Don't be asking me these dumb questions.
Well, you're the one saying it's okay, so I'm asking you, why is it okay?
Well, just like I didn't interrupt you, don't interrupt me, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's okay. Because he realized it had never happened before, and it's about time for America to make a change. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Over the last 46 presidents, we've had all men, and most of them have screwed it up. I say give a woman a chance. Give her a chance. She's definitely qualified. She is qualified more than anybody.
Oh.
Yes, she is. She has 24 years of experience.
That girl can't even. That's why she speaks in word salad.
Word salad.
Because she can't put together a cohesive thought.
Obviously, you haven't listened to her. Word salad. Have you listened?
I've listened to her all right, and I'm dumber for listening to her.
Well, I tell you what,
I lost brain cells listening to her.
Oh well, then you lost more when you listened to Trump, right? Now,
again, I'm not a Trump supporter. He says a lot of dumb stuff.
Well, how come you always talk against her, but you never say anything against him? You say, "Oh, I don't." Now,
I do constantly say, "I'm not a Trump fan." The guy says dumb stuff. I'm saying it right now. I've said it before. He does dumb things. He says dumb stuff. He does dumb things, and I'm not supporting him at all.
Right. Well,
but I'm not going to support her either. At least I'm fair, William. At least I'm fair on both sides. I wouldn't vote for either one of them.
But then guess what? You have not listened to her speak. You have not listened to her. I've
listened to her, and I'm dumber for it.
I'm convinced that you have not listened to her speak, because she's clear, she's concise. She tells you her plans.
Okay, let me know when I can speak.
Yeah, as soon as I finish it. I mean, why you keep wanting to jump in while I'm talking?
Well, because you don't give me a chance to give
Mike, I just cleared it a few minutes ago. I said, Mike, I would let you speak uninterrupted.
But I'm supposed to be having a back and forth with you,
and I didn't interrupt you. Well, we're gonna have it. Mike,
let me know when I can say something.
Oh, I will definitely do that, sir.
Okay.
But the point is, I am convinced that you have not heard her speak. You have not. Because because you wouldn't make a statement like that if you had ever listened to her talk. She's clear, she's concise, she's intelligent. She can put more than 2 or 3 sentences together. Okay, she tells you, and people say, "Well, what is her plan? What is her plan? What is her plan?" She says she talks about the economy. She talks about the border. She talks about foreign affairs. She talks about how she's going to grow this economy. She tells you about health care. All right. And she puts this all out, and it's clear. You talk about a word salad when this guy is up there talking about Arnold Palmer's genitals, okay? And he's talking about what's that? Oh my God, Hannibal Lecter. He's talking about windmills killing birds. He has not said one thing. Oh, they asked him about healthcare. Well, healthcare is healthcare. Oh, we got to have that in the United States. Well, how are you going to do it? We're going to drill. Do you know right now the United States is drilling more than we ever have in the history of this country right now? right now. Okay, all right. The reason why the inflation started because Trump made a deal with Vladimir Putin and Saudi Arabia to cut back on production. And when you cut back on production, okay, it's going to drive the prices up. Okay, the inflation started going up in 2021. Biden had just took over. Oh, what is Biden doing? Okay, he brought inflation back from 9% down to under 4. What more you want? What more you want? More jobs than Trump ever had. Okay, Mike, I'm gonna be quiet for a second and let you jump right in there because this both side issue of that you try and project, it does not fly, brother. Mike,
Am I allowed to speak now?
your name is Mike, isn't it?
I'm just checking. Kamala speaks in circles. Kamala, Miss Harris. I don't want to be disrespectful, even though I don't care very much for her and her word salads. Her answer to everything, if you go back and you listen to her, which I have on all of her interviews with Brett Baer, with CNN, I've listened to all these interviews. And some of them I've listened to more than once because I want to be clear and I want to be fair. When she's asked a question, her go-to is essentially the following. First of all, she says this, and I'll quote, "First of all, let me be clear," which she isn't. So she says, "First of all, let me be clear. It's all Trump's fault." That's essentially her answer to everything. She never says what she's going to do.
I'm sorry, go on.
She never says what she's going to do specifically. She says, "I'm going to fix this and I'm going to fix that and I'm going to do this and I care about the American people." What she does is she speaks in platitudes. She doesn't speak in reality. She doesn't say, "I'm going to fix this and this is how I'm going to do it." She never says, "This is how I'm going to do it." She says, "Well, go to my website and read 80 pages." She never gives specifics. And she puts together words that I'm just amazed. And everyone says, "Oh, that was glorious." What did she say? Well, I'm not really sure. Because she speaks in circles and in rhythms and rhymes and platitudes. And again, her go-to for everything, when she can't come up with an answer, she says, "First of all, let me be clear." Now go back and read how many times she says, "First of all, let me be clear," which she never is. And then she comes off with something, Trump is bad, Orange Man bad, Trump said this, Trump did this. She never answers the question. She never puts forth, "Here's how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to take this and do this and do this. I'm going to do A, B, and C." Go back and listen to her again and again. She never says, "This is how I'm going to fix whatever it is that they're discussing," whether it's the border, whether it's inflation, whether it's abortion. She never says how she's going to fix it. All she does is speak in platitudes. I'm going to fix this and I'm going to fix. Well, I can say I'm going to fix my sink, but if I never tell you how I'm going to do it, it's not going to get done. And the same thing with her. And it's amazing that she has the inability to distance herself from Biden. Particularly, she can't distance herself from Biden because she was part of the decision-making process. She was okay with it. She was part of it. And now she can't say, "Well, I'm going to make it better." That's all she says. "I'm going to make it better." How? How? Give me an ABC. Tell me how you're going to do it.
Okay, you done? Number one, again, you have not listened to her. She is clear. Mike, I don't know.
William,
Mike.
I've
I listen to everything that she does. I listen to all her speeches. As a matter of fact, I look at her rallies. I look at Trump's rallies. Okay. Number one, the enthusiasm on her side, because look at what she says. Also, she also talks about she doesn't call America a trash can. She doesn't call America a trash can, number one. Number two, she says, "Look, we are in this together. We are going to build this together." She talks about hope. She talks about a bright future for this country. She talks about a bright future order. She talks about, Mike, let me finish. I'm going to get to that. She talks about more job security. She talked about increasing jobs. She talked about increasing the minimum wage. She's talking about making that a living wage. That's one thing.
Talks.
Mike, let me finish. I didn't interrupt you, did I? Okay. She talked about making it a living wage. Okay. She talks about border security. And I get tired of the Republicans and these right-wing talking points talk about, well, the border is wide open. Number one, that's a damn lie. Okay.
2 million people. That's not open.
Mike,
2 million people crossed over the border under her watch. And that's not wide open?
No,
Man, I don't know what is then.
Well, guess what? So you're going to, so I guess it's okay for us to interrupt one another, right?
Well, I'd like to have a dialogue with you rather than listening to you.
Mike,
give me a chance to jump in occasionally.
Mike, I have stopped, shut my mouth, gave you several occasions and let you talk without interruption. When I start talking, you want to interrupt.
Well, I want to have a dialogue with you. Let's be specific. Tell me what her plan is to fix the border. Let's stick to one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Tell me her plan. What is her plan specifically to fix the border?
Okay, let me tell you.
2 million people have crossed illegally.
Well, guess what? Well, if you shut your trap, I'll tell you. All right?
I'm listening.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that, Mike. You're so kind.
Tell me specifically, William.
Okay. Well, number one, we're gonna go back to the plan that her and Biden and the Democrats, along with the Republicans, put together that Trump, your boy, shot down. You keep talking about the wide open border, and when the bill comes across the Congress floor, Congress shoots it down, and those are Republicans that does that. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
That bill was a mess.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
I want to go back and forth with you, William.
No, let me finish what I'm saying. How you gonna go back and forth with me if I can't get the words out of my mouth?
Because you jump from one subject to the next, to the next, to the next, and you never let me address the one thing you're talking about.
Well, I'm asking the border. You said
how?
The border. You said how?
How is she going to fix it?
I am. Put the bill in place that they had passed several months ago, if not more than a year ago, and Trump and his stooges shot it down. You're not going to have it both ways. You're not going to tell me. You're not going to have it both ways. You're going to tell me we need to fix the border, and when we try to fix the border, you shoot it down. What is wrong?
Why did they take? Why on day number one did her and Biden take away all the protection that existed under Trump at the border? It was working. The Remain in Mexico and why did they take away all those orders that were working and open the borders?
Because
and 2 million people crossed? Because they took away the executive orders that Trump had in place that were working. And why is it that they took 3.5 years before they did something proactive to fix it when they had the power all the time? They didn't need Congress. They didn't need Congress at all to do anything. The president had the ability to do it. And the reason that I know it works is because Trump did it and it worked. And Biden took it all away on day one. Biden and Harris took it all away, and it was working. So for the next 3.5 years, they had wide open border.
Mike, if it was working then, it'll be working now. Trump had 4 years to fix the border. He talked about building a doggone wall, and he only put up 50 miles and claimed he put up 500.
And now what's Harris saying? And now what is Harris saying? Well, she's going to build the wall.
She's talking about more border security. She's talking about putting more agents down there.
She was talking about building the wall.
Well, guess what?
Is she going to build the wall or not?
I'll guarantee she'll build more than that clown did, because he even also had Steve Bannon. Remember him?
So why did they stop him from building the wall then?
Mike,
if the wall's going to work, why did they stop him from building it?
They didn't stop him from building it. He stopped building it.
What the hell they didn't?
He had 4 years to build the doggone wall. Mike, what are you talking about? He had 4 years.
Where's all the materials to build the wall?
Years to build
all the materials are laying there rusting because they stopped it. All the material and manpower is all paid for, and they stopped him.
Mike, will you stop getting your news out of the garbage can? You're wrong. They just.
By the way,
guess what? He had 4 years to build that border, that wall. He had 4 years. He's also the one that told you that Mexico was going to pay for it, which was a lie. You know it, and I know it. He built 50 miles
of wall. That was his attempt.
Attempt? Oh, just like his concept of a plan. Mike, this guy has done nothing.
And I'm not sure
anything.
your facts and figures are right on the amount of the wall that was built.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure it was way more than that.
Well, guess what? He
okay,
said,
well, I'm looking stuff up, but you never let me speak.
Well, I'm not stopping you, but me talking is not stopping you from looking it up.
Okay.
Well, look it up. Let me talk while you're looking it up. Okay, what I'm saying is he built 50 miles of wall. Okay, he claimed he was going to build a wall. He had 4 years to do it. He said Mexico was going to pay for it. They did not. They said they weren't going to do it.
That was what he wanted.
His buddy Steve Bannon duped Americans out of $25 million, claiming because he had a border fund. He has surrounded himself with crooks all of his life. He's a crook himself. The point is, this guy hasn't delivered on anything. While he was there, what the hell did he do except for ride off of Obama's economy? What did he do? He didn't do anything for the economy. He did nothing.
Well,
and I tell you
I was paying a lot less for groceries and gas when he was in office.
Guess what?
That's a fact.
You blame
and
Trump
going back to look. I'm going to have to talk over you because you won't let me talk. So going back to your original thing that you told me to look it up with abortion. This says from the Pew Research. I don't know if you like them or not, but Pew Research is well known. It says that 2% of all abortions in America are medically necessary. 2%. That means 98% are not medically necessary. So there you go. I looked that back up, and now I'm going to look up. Now I'm going to look up how much border wall.
Go to another research thing because I don't buy that. I do not buy that. I don't buy it.
Right? Pew Research. Look it up.
I don't.
You asked me to look it up. I looked it up. It says 2%. It says about 2% of all abortions in the United States involve some type of medical necessity.
Who are
Pew
they?
Research.
Who are
now I'm going to look up border wall. So I'm going to
answer my question.
I said, who are they? Here.
Nope. I said, who are they?
It's Pew Research.
Pew.
I'm stating it's Pew Research.
Pew. P-E-W.
Yes.
Pew Research.
You told me to look it up. I looked it up. Now I'm going to look up. Now I'm going to look up the border wall.
No,
so you go ahead.
Well, I'm not
and talk
Pew
away.
Research. You know what I'm going to say about Pew Research? Pew. That's what I'm going to say. Pew. Okay, go on.
As far as I know, they are a reputable firm that does research.
I asked you who they are.
I don't know them personally, but you asked me to look it up. I looked it up. Now I'm going to look up the border walls. So go ahead with your rant.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and look it up. And you can look up the border wall.
I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you something. But see, this is what I'm saying is we get our research from somewhere, don't we, folks? I'm talking to my folks out there and listen to us via radio. Okay, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, let's say YouTube. We're on YouTube also. Hey, check out our YouTube channel. That's Studio W The Buzz. And see, folks, we are victims in so many cases of the information that we get because we don't know. In many cases, we don't know whether the research that we are getting is true or false. That's why it's so important to cross-check the information you got. Now, that Pew Research or whether Mike looking at it, I never heard of them before. Okay, it could be some.
You've heard of Pew. You certainly have.
It could. No, I have not. Okay,
all the listeners have.
Well, not necessarily, because I listen to a lot of things. I look at a lot of things, and if I hadn't heard it a lot, I guarantee you a lot of our listeners haven't either. So what I'm saying is we are vulnerable in a lot of cases because we have to listen or we get our information from sources that may or may not be reputable. And this is the problem because Mike has been spewing out a lot of right-wing talking points. So I get an idea where he get his information from. Okay, I look at both. I
listen to both sides.
Yeah, obviously not. If you go say that VP Harris can't talk and she talks in word salad, then apparently not. Have you said anything about how stupid Trump talks? Okay, you say, oh, you do this, Mike. Okay, you scratch. Oh, I don't like the guy. The guy is this. The guy is that. I don't like him either. Blah blah blah. But you never talk about the word salad that he spews out of his mouth. Okay, and how he's flip-flop on abortion. Okay, how he talks about immigrants like they are dogs. He talks about things that are so dangerous to communities and could cause somebody to get hurt. He's still spewing that point about they're out there eating the dogs, they're out there eating the cats. Oh, and so that little brain of his doesn't work fast enough. Then he says the pets, and that's a lie. He talked about
Okay,
55.
you want the answer to the question?
Let me finish talking. Then you can go and answer the question because I was
That's
in the
fine.
middle
Just
of
let me know.
I was in the middle of speaking, Mike. What I'm saying to you, he lied about the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. He said they dropped 50,000 Haitians in there. Number one, the number is 15 to 20. He talked about how they ruined the community. That is a lie. The mayor, the governor, okay, the city manager, the business owner say the Haitians have added to the economy. It has increased their tax base. They've made it all better. J.D. Vance got up there and talked and admitted that he lied about it. He told Dana Bash, well, if I have to make up stories to get you guys to pay attention to this, that's what I'm going to do. Meaning that he's willing to lie to the American people and getting somebody that's going to get somebody killed. They lied about the people in Colorado, Venezuelans taking over an entire community. That is a lie. Okay? Just lie, 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 lie. Okay, Mike, what you got?
So this is from the BBC. It says that under Trump, 452 miles, which is 727 kilometers in total, according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection CBP information. 452. That's a big difference from that and your 50 miles or 5 miles or whatever you said.
Can I explain? 50 miles of that was new. The other 400 was repairs. Now, because if you look at what
That's
they
not
said,
what it says here. It doesn't say
no,
repairs. It says created.
They say in total. Okay,
it's 452 miles of new wall according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Does it say new? Does it say new? No, it does not. It does not say new. It says in total. 450 miles in total. 50 miles
yes.
Huh?
It says that 80 miles of it were repairs.
Mm-hmm.
And it includes 47 miles of primary wall and 33 miles of secondary wall built to reinforce the initial.
So that's not
so there were repairs.
That's not 450 miles. Yep. That's not 450 miles to new wall. That's 450
it says
miles.
80 of it were repairs.
80? They say 80. Okay, some other stats said more than that. And the other 32 was what? Reinforcement?
33 miles of secondary wall built to reinforce the initial barrier.
Add that to 82. Now we're at 120. Now we're at 112.
Did he build 50 miles? Did he build 50 miles?
Well, okay.
Who you were listening to? Where are you getting your stats from?
Well, guess what?
Kind of left wing?
I'm getting it from all over. And guess what? I'm not so sure that yours are correct. I'm not so sure yours correct.
You asked me to look it up. I looked it up.
Yeah, one source. That's the BBC you got it from.
I can look up others here.
Let me look up others.
Screen out here.
Please go on and do that, Mike. Okay, but it wasn't 500 like you said. And if you take 450, you minus 82 out of that. Now we're down to 300 or something, right? Aren't we? We're looking at 35 miles of reinforcement. Subtract that also. Then there was another number that you put in there. They said all total. Okay, yeah. My sources tell me that it was 50 miles of wall that he built. And number one, guess what? He still didn't build the wall like he said it was. I don't care whether it's 50. I don't care if it's 500. He still didn't get the job done. And if it was fixed, like you said it was fixed, then we wouldn't have a problem now. Yep, I'm ready. Go on.
So now this is another source. The next, I just punched the next one up. And this is PolitiFact. PolitiFact says the administration built 458 total miles of primary and secondary border barriers. The U.S., according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection data shows, the majority were replacement and similar.
Majority was replacement. Aha! Thank you. The majority was replacement. That means he didn't build it. The majority was replacement. You just read it out of your own lips right there. The majority was replacement. Okay. Now, what is the majority of 450? Let's see. 275 times two. Well, let's see. 275 times. What's 450 in half? Let's see. 500 is 250. Okay. Shucks. Let's see. 5,500. We had 475. Let's say 250, 260. All right. The majority being, so that means there was more than 260, 270 miles that were replacement. Majority, that majority could be anything. It could be 300. Okay. But it wasn't from that first one that you wrote from the BBC. What I'm saying again, folks, be careful where you get your information, Mike. You just proved my point. You just proved my point. He didn't build 500 miles worth of wall. Okay. And I guarantee you, if you get down to the nitty gritty, it was more like 50. I've been hearing that for years. And if the border was so secure when he left, then what is the problem now? And you talk about Biden.
What were the numbers of the border crossings during his administration? And what were the numbers under Biden-Harris?
Well, guess what? They were higher under him than they are under Biden right now. Yep.
Have you lost your mind? They had 2 million.
Right. Mike, no, that's the truth.
2 million crossed the border under Biden-Harris.
Look,
that didn't happen under Trump.
They still crossed the border. And guess what? We have to get down to the nitty-gritty.
2 million, William.
Nope.
Mike. 2 million. That didn't happen. That's a lot.
I don't know whether it did or not, because the right side lies so much. They lie. I don't know. All I'm saying is, Mike, he had 4 years to fix it. How come he wasn't fixed? How come it wasn't fixed? If he had taken care, if he had done the job, then we wouldn't even have this issue right now. We wouldn't even have this conversation.
He did do the job, and the border crossings.
He did not do the job.
We're very low compared to Harris's and Biden's 2 million.
If he did the job, we wouldn't have this problem right now. We wouldn't have a problem right now. He did nothing but elect 3 jerk Supreme Court justices, lowered the taxes on the upper class, added $8 trillion to the deficit, which is a fact. You can look that up. Okay? Biden added 4. He added 8. Under his plan going forward, if God, we can't let this happen. If so happens he stumbles back into the White House, they're saying that we'll be in a recession by mid next year. He's going to add another $6 trillion because he wants to lower the taxes on the wealthy again. He wants to put tariffs on all foreign products coming into this country.
He wants to put tariffs on the foreign countries that are doing us wrong and taking advantage of the American people, like China. He wants to put tariffs.
Mike, what is that going to do to the economy?
It's not necessarily about the economy itself, because we can produce everything that they can produce. It's about controlling these crazy people like Russia that are invading other countries. It's about controlling them and keeping them from taking advantage of the world and the American people. So what it's to do, it's to spank them so that they don't do this evil stuff that they're doing throughout the world. That's what the tariffs are for. It's not to hurt the American people. It's to stop these dictators from doing all the evil that they're doing.
Who pays?
How many wars occurred under Trump?
Oh, there were wars under him. Afghanistan was still. Wait, don't change the subject here. Let's get back on tariffs. Okay, then we can talk about wars.
How many? It's inconvenient for you to talk about. How many wars were created? It's inconvenient for you to talk about. How many wars were created under Trump?
Enough. But let me get back.
How many wars were created under Trump? I'd like a number.
Well, how many?
I'd like a number. Don't filibuster. Don't filibuster. How many wars were created while Trump was in office?
There was, I think, like 2 or 3.
Can you name one?
No, but I can.
How many? Well, then you need to look it up, because you've asked me to look it up. How many wars were created while Trump was in office? How many wars were created while Trump was in office?
No, Mike, this is not going to be.
How many wars were created? I'm not going to let you. I don't know. No, you want to talk. You want to talk words sounded like Camelot.
I told you.
How many wars were created while Trump was in office?
Mike,
look it up. How many wars were created? That's it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like a number, William.
I don't know.
I'm not going to let you go on this. How many wars were created while Trump was in office? How many wars were created while Trump was in office?
Hey, Mike, what did I tell you?
How many wars were Trump?
I don't know. I don't know.
I know.
How many?
I know because I looked it up and because I listened. The number was zero.
And that
Wars
is
were created.
that is not true.
Zero wars
That
were
is not
created
true.
while Trump was in office.
I tell you what.
If they were created, tell me one.
Hey, Mike.
How many wars were created while Trump was in office?
I don't know.
And conversely,
I don't know.
how many wars have been created throughout this world while Harris and Trump have been in office?
Well, who created them? What are you trying to say? What difference does it make?
How many wars were created while Trump was in office?
I told you
zero.
Well, guess
zero.
what? I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
Well, then you look it up.
I don't have time to because I'm arguing with your ass.
Oh, but you make me look it up, but you won't look it up.
Yeah, because you got time.
Okay.
You have time. I'm over here navigating the show. Okay, I don't have time to look it up right now. Okay, but tell you what. But there were wars that happened under Trump. There sure were. There were wars that happened under him. There were wars been going all over the world for years.
Those were in place when he took office.
Mike,
because you're misstating this. You're claiming that it was his fault.
Okay,
he didn't create those wars. He inherited those wars.
Really? So what are you saying? What difference does it make? You know what? Biden didn't start a war.
What differences make?
Because Biden didn't start a war. I think what you're talking about is Ukraine, and you're talking about what's happening with Israel right now. What the hell does it have to do with America?
Because it wouldn't happen if Trump was in office.
That is baloney. As a matter of fact, it would have been easier for Russia to invade Ukraine under Trump because Trump is in.
Then why didn't he do it?
The Trump is in Putin's pocket.
Then why didn't he do it under Trump?
I don't know. Why don't you ask them, Mike? That's a dumb question.
It's not dumb. I just said a logical question. If he could have done it, if he could have, should have, why didn't he do it?
You already know that
he didn't do it under Trump because he was afraid of Trump. That's why.
He was not afraid of. You kidding me? Trump is Putin's lapdog.
What did he do with North Korea and Rocket Man? What did he do with Rocket Man in North Korea?
Hey, look here, and he kisses up to him too. He kisses up to all dictators, Mike.
He didn't do anything under Trump, did he?
He ain't gonna do nothing now either.
He got embarrassed. He got embarrassed under Trump and stopped being Rocket Man.
Well, you sound like a Trump supporter to me.
I'm not a Trump supporter.
You sound like it.
But again, I deal with facts, clues, and evidence. Facts, clues, and evidence shows that these dictators didn't do nothing under Trump. And all of a sudden, when Harris and Biden are in office, all of a sudden now these dictators are doing all this stuff because they know that Biden and Harris are weak.
They would have done it under Trump too. As a matter of fact,
why didn't they?
Trump would have made it easier.
Why didn't they?
Trump would have made it easier.
Why didn't they? If it was easier,
because guess what? The time wasn't right for them yet.
Oh, the timing. Okay.
Matter of fact,
but it was easier.
Yeah, it would have been easier.
Then the timing would have been right if it was easier.
The timing
would have been right if it was easier.
How do you know that those clowns then plotted to wait until a Democrat got into office? How you know that?
Really?
Yeah, really. Absolutely. And you know what? And that sounds as silly as the argument that you're trying to make right now. Because we were talking about terrorists, then you could jump over to wars. But I'm not going to let you get away with that. Okay?
I'm telling you, the terrorists prevented wars. I'm tying the two together. Terrorists prevented wars. And
Mike, are you sure there's only pomegranate juice in that cup? Because what you're saying makes no sense at all. What you're saying makes absolutely. And terrorists, Mike, and let me ask you a question. Who pays for those terrorists? Who pays for those terrorists? Is it the country that we are putting the terrorists on, or is it the American citizens?
It depends if they're buying stuff.
It depends my butt. You're wrong, and you know you're wrong. I'm going to ask you again, Mike. Who pays that tax? Who pays the cost of those terrorists? Is it the United States?
Country that's producing
is it the United States?
You asked me a question, let me answer. It's the countries that are producing the product. They're the ones that pay because they're unable to sell their product because because the tariffs have been put in place to punish them for their bad behavior. So the country that can't sell their cars to America, they're the ones that pay the price.
That's wrong. You're 100%. 100% incorrect.
Why? Because we can buy cars. We can buy other cars from other parts of the world. We can buy cars from Germany. We can buy cars from Mexico. We can buy cars from
you know what? You are 100%. Nope. That cost is passed on to the American consumer. Mike,
if
I'm
they bring them
surprised you
into
don't
the
know
country.
that.
But what happens is they
I'm
never bring them
surprised
into
you
the
don't
country
know
because
that,
the
Mike.
tariffs are too high.
Mike, I'm surprised you don't know that. That when a tariff is slapped on a product or slapped on a country, the United States picks up the tab, Mike. That is
If
a
they buy
fact.
the product,
That is
they
passed
don't have
on.
to buy that product.
Well, guess what? Well, guess what? Those products, a lot of those products are in demand. And
If
that
China,
cost, and
if China, okay,
that
let's break it
cost
down
is
for you.
passed
Let's
on.
break it down for you. If China's producing light bulbs and they put a tariff on China for light bulbs, that's 100% tariff. How many people are going to buy the light bulbs from China? They're not. They're going to buy light bulbs from the U.S. or somewhere else, which we should be putting money back in the U.S. economy. We shouldn't be buying all this stuff from China. So when tariffs are placed on China to prevent them from taking advantage of America and to scold them for their bad behavior throughout the world, then that hurts China. And we can buy light bulbs from anybody else, Canada or anywhere else. We don't have to buy Chinese light bulbs. So
Right.
it benefits the American people definitely in the long run, because it stops China from doing the stupid, evil things that they do.
No, it does not. I'm gonna tell you something else.
That's why the
And
tariffs exist.
Nope. And let me tell you where you're wrong. Let me tell you where you're wrong. Because there's certain things that we have to get from China. There are certain things that we have to get from other countries. Things that are necessary to manufacture cars. The things that for technology reasons. That's why Biden came up with the CHIPS Act. Okay. All right. That's why he came with it. So we can develop our own chips right here in America, producing more jobs.
Wonderful.
And that we didn't have to depend on China
Wonderful.
for chips.
Well, I completely agree. Wonderful.
So there are certain
it.
things that have to come from foreign countries. And what I'm saying to you is that you're 1,000% wrong, because when he put tariffs on his countries right now, we have to pay the price. Mike, and I'll tell you something else. Don't take my word for it. There are over 100.
I know. Look it up.
Over 100.
I get to look up everything.
Over 100 top economists in the country tells me that I am right. Business people.
Oh, so one moron tells you you're right and you believe it.
100 economists, people that do this for a living, okay, because they have the facts in front of us, okay.
Do you know all the 100
do you know
come up with? I can come up with 200 on the other side.
Do you know, Mike, that the top 100 Fortune 500 companies, the top 500 Fortune 500 countries agree with VP Harris over Trump because of the economy going forward? Mike, these people do this for a living. Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, 100 economists, okay, will tell you that her economic plan is far superior than his.
What plan? I haven't heard the plan. All I've heard is she has a plan.
They heard.
That's all I've heard. She's got a plan, but she can't articulate. She can't articulate what the plan is.
She can articulate better than you or me.
She's been asking all these interviews with CNN and Brett Baer and everyone else.
And she's been
oddly enough, she can never articulate it. It goes into word salad. Well, I'm going to take care of the American people, and I've got this, and I'm going to do this. But she never articulates how she's going to do it, and she never articulates who's going to pay for her plans. She's going to this, and she's going to give away all this money to new business entrepreneurs and stuff. But she never says where the money's coming from, does she? Oddly enough, she never tells you what the plan is. She never says how it's going to get paid for.
Oh, yes, she does. Yes, she does.
When
you start listening,
look it up.
Because you don't listen. You don't listen, Mike, because she lays it out for you. Now,
where
she has, Mike, she has
I've listened to hours of her babbling. Hours of her babbling I've listened to over and over, and I've repeatedly listened to the interviews. And again, because I want to be clear about stuff, I've listened to the interviews more than once.
Apparently not.
I've listened to Brett Baer more than once. I've listened to CNN more than once. I've listened to all these more than once, because I want to get it in my head. What is it she's trying to communicate? And I have to do this. I have to somehow decipher. I need a deciphering ring, the Dick Tracy deciphering ring, so I can understand what the hell she's saying, because she doesn't say anything.
Mike, she says it all. Well, Mike, I don't know. I don't know what bubble you living in, brother. I don't know what happened.
Listen to CNN. Listen to CNN.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, I've turned CNN off. I really turn CNN because CNN seems to be a
Good.
nicer version of Fox these days. CNN has turned somehow. I'm gonna tell you something. All I'm saying to you is she has talked about. She said, "I'm going to do A, B, C, and D." Okay.
No, she hasn't. Not
Yes,
once.
she has. Yes, she has.
I'm
Mike,
this. I'm going to
well,
do this. I'm going to do that. Never
yeah.
explains how.
Guess what? And
Or
then
if she does explain that she's going to have $25,000 for for people to buy homes, or $50,000 for business startups. She never says how it's going to get paid for, does she? Who's that going to hurt? Who's paying for it? If the government does it, who pays for it? The government doesn't produce anything. The government never makes a dime. You know where the money comes from? Taxes. The people of America, people in America are going to have to pay for it. People in America are going to have to. The taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. Right? But she never says that. She never says, "Well, it's going to come out of taxes out of your pocket."
Well,
so you guys that are paying taxes are going to have to pay for these new businesses and pay for people to get a house. And what's going to happen if she gives $25,000 for people to buy a home? You know what the price of homes is going to happen? The price of the homes is going to go up $25,000.
No.
Oh, the hell, it's not.
No,
please.
It's not. No.
Oh, please,
no,
William.
absolutely not. No, that
Get out of your bubble.
That $25,000 is going to come out of the budget. It's not.
And what is the budget made of?
Well,
where did the money for the budget come from?
From your tax base.
So taxpayers are going to pay for it.
Your tax base.
Great. So now I got to pay for other people to buy a home.
And I'm going to tell you
I got to pay for other entrepreneurs. Now I have to pay. William, I'm going to keep talking until you listen. Now I'm going to have to pay for people to buy a home, and I'm going to have to pay for new startup businesses that are probably going to fail because so many new businesses in America fail. Almost
you sound
like 80% fail. So now my money and taxpayers' money is going towards her pipe dream of paying for people to buy a home. And again, the price of the home is going to go up by the same amount that she's going to offer up. And the businesses that are going to fail, I'm going to have to pay for people to go into failed businesses, and I'm going to have to pay for people to buy a home. Why is it fair for me to pay for that? And why do I have to pay for student loans? When you do a loan, you're a businessman, William. When you sign for a loan and you promise to pay it back, how is it okay for you not to pay it back? And that includes student loans.
Well, you number one, you all over the place.
Why is that okay?
Hold on. Number one, you all over the place. Now, did you say anything about the PPE loans that people in Congress got in the tune? Now, you talking about a student that has maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of debt, maybe $50,000 worth of debt. Did you talk about the hundreds of thousands?
Did I make them get that debt?
Mike,
did I make them get the debt?
Mike,
did I make them sign the paper that says they'll repay the debt?
Let me finish right now, please.
What if I default on my loan on my home?
Mike,
can I just say, well, I don't want to finish paying my mortgage? Is that okay?
I tell you, why don't you just go and talk it for the rest of the show?
That's what I'm saying.
Don't be asking me a question if you don't want me to answer it.
Well, no, because you talk, you never let me get in there. Is it okay? Let's do one thing at a time. Is it okay to default on a loan? Any loan?
It's never okay to default on a loan. It's never okay.
That's my point.
Okay,
thanks for making my point for me.
No, it just sounds silly because you never answered my question. How about the PPE loans that people like you, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest of them that has businesses, they got hundreds of thousands of dollars. These people are making $178,000 a year for doing nothing. Then they get hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans, and then they gonna complain because a student got a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 forgiveness. Come on, give me a break.
None of it's right.
What's going to happen? Let me tell you how she's going to pay for it, because she's going to keep a job. The job growth is going to be up. Okay, wages are already up, and those people will have to pay into the tax base. Okay,
and who's paying for the wages that are up?
I already told you. Now,
who's paying the wage for the wages that are up?
Well, these greedy corporations.
No, who's paying? No. Okay, you got your McDonald's. You got your McDonald's. Hang on. You got your McDonald's worker.
Hang on, Mike.
Now you're paying. Okay, then I'll just keep talking. Now you got a McDonald's person that's getting paid $20 an hour, who ultimately pays for their wages. It goes up in the cost of the food they buy, and who pays for their food? The public. So now the public is paying higher prices because of artificially increased wages for people that are working at McDonald's.
That's why she has a plan.
So now the public has to pay for the increased cost of the food because the owner of the company has to increase the prices in order to pay for the higher wages. So ultimately, who's paying for it? The public pays for it, William. The public pays for it.
Mike, are you opposed to people having a living wage? If you work for the sheriff's department and they only paid you $10 an hour, that would have been right.
Is there a difference? Is there a difference between me working for the sheriff's department and somebody flipping burgers? I'm answering your question. Is there a difference? Is there a difference? Is there a difference? Is there a difference between me working for the sheriff's department and some kid that's in high school flipping burgers at McDonald's? Should that person get a living wage where he can get married and raise 2 children while he's flipping burgers at McDonald's when he's 18 years old? Or should he move up and get into the real business and provide for his family accordingly by going to work for the sheriff's department, going to work for a business, and earning a livable wage by increasing his capability to earn money? Or should everyone that works at McDonald's get the same wage that I got with the sheriff's department? Answer that question. Should everyone at McDonald's, should everyone that works at McDonald's get the same wage that I got working for the sheriff's department?
If you be quiet, I'll tell you.
Okay, I'm waiting.
If you be quiet, there are certain jobs that's going to require more for the employer.
Doctors, lawyers.
Employee. Mike, let me finish. That's going to require the employee to pay more. Depends on the job. Okay. Are you trying to tell me you got someone who it was difficult for them to find a job? They've landed a job at McDonald's, and they do have a family. Okay. All right. And they're flipping burgers, whatever it is. You still have to eat. Okay. Are you trying to tell me that they don't deserve to have a living wage? Okay.
Yes.
When the CEO.
Yes, I'm telling you, they don't deserve a living wage. I'm not going to pay for their bad decisions.
Something is warped in your decision making, Mike.
Why do I have to pay for other people's bad decisions?
You know what?
Why do I have to pay for other people's bad decisions? Why do I have to pay for other people's bad decisions?
If you be quiet, Michael, I will tell you.
Because you're not answering my question. Why do I have to pay for other people? If you've got a family, if you got a wife and a family and kids, should you be working at McDonald's? No, you should be working at a higher paying job. You shouldn't be flipping burgers at McDonald's. Those are entry level jobs. If you're bagging groceries at Ralph's or whatever you're doing, those are entry level positions. Those are not wages that you can raise a family on. They were never designed to be wages that you can raise a family on.
I'm not saying pay them $50 an hour. I'm not saying pay them at the same level.
Let's do it. Let's give them $50 a month.
Well, why don't you, Mike? Will you let me finish and stop talking over me? I keep saying,
would you answer the question?
Well, if you be quiet, I'll answer it. Dog, man, you can't have it both ways. What I'm saying to you, no, they don't deserve to make the amount of money that you do at the service.
Thank you.
Well, let me finish. They don't deserve.
I'm thanking you,
Mike. That's rude. You're being rude now.
I am not being rude. I'm trying to answer you. I'm trying to have a dialogue with you.
Mike, I'm telling you, being rude because you're talking over me. You are being rude. What I'm saying is, no, they don't deserve the amount of money that you made at the service department, at the sheriff's department. They don't deserve that. However, these are human beings that deserve a living wage. At least $15 an hour is nothing. And that's barely what you can call a living wage. And let me tell you where the money should come from. If it should come from those CEOs that's taking away $10 billion a year. You got CEOs that are making $100, $200, $300, $400,000 a year at McDonald's. They have separate. I saw something the other day where you have different departments throughout the McDonald's corporation. And some of these clowns are taking with 10, 15, 20 million dollars a year. How come some of that money can't be passed down to their employees? That's where the money should come from. And President VP Harris, right? Yep, President VP Harris. That sounds real good. What she's trying to do is these guys to stop price gouging people and pay a fair wage. They got the money. They've got the money. All right. Because no CEO, now, you know, most CEOs, they don't do a damn thing. They don't do a damn thing. All right. And then you got the management just below them. The management just below them. Or trickle on down. When you get down to the people who's actually doing the work and they make it $7 an hour, that's a doggone shame. And I'm never going to buy this argument or that you're trying to present, Mike. I'm never going to do that. It makes no sense. No, at certain jobs are going to require you to pay more, and I think it should go on your skill. But I'm going to tell you something. You take food away from anybody, it's going to be a problem here in this country. All right. You may not appreciate a McDonald's worker, but when you're hungry, you're going to appreciate them when you go in there. Yes, if they're working 8 hours, they should have a living wage. Absolutely. And take the money off of the top. You don't have to pay anymore, and they don't need to charge anymore. They already making more money than they absolutely need. No.
Oh, these businesses are working on very fine, very thin amount of
no, they're not. Well, then how the CEO gets $20 million a year then?
Well, because he's earned it. He or she has earned that
what?
position. So just because because somebody has wealth, if I have wealth, I'm required to share it with everyone else.
These CEOs don't do anything.
So to take your argument that everyone deserves a living wage, should the paper boy get a living wage to raise a family and kids?
That is a dumb question. I'm not going to even answer. I'm not going to even answer that.
It's not dumb.
It's a dumb question.
So everybody that works should get a living wage.
I'm not going to even entertain that.
I'm going to answer the question for you because you refuse to answer. It's a sliding scale. The more knowledge you have, the more ability you have, the more that you produce means you make more money.
Didn't I say that earlier? However, these CEOs.
That's not what you said. You said everyone deserves it. So let's give the paper boy $20 an hour.
Mike, that's ridiculous, and you know it.
No, it is ridiculous, and that's why I'm bringing it up. Because not everybody deserves a living wage, William. You got to earn that. You got to move up in this world. You get into an entry level, job, and you work your way up. You get education, and you move forward.
If I'm sweating your way up till you get to
be the CEO, and that's how you get the big money.
I do deserve a living wage. You doggone right. I deserve a living wage if I'm working in somebody's shop, in somebody's kitchen, in somebody's restaurant, somebody's hotel.
No, you don't.
Yes,
no,
I
do.
Don't. I do.
Nope.
I shouldn't have a living wage. I shouldn't be able to feed my family. Or that's what you're trying to tell me?
Nope. You should get the wage that you deserve for the work
my family does not deserve.
Let me say it again. You should get the wage you deserve based on what you're able to produce and your knowledge and ability. A paper boy does not deserve $50 an hour. It's based on what you're able to produce. If you can't produce, then you don't get the wage. If you want to make more money, then you better do a better job and a bigger job.
Mike, what you're saying is absolutely ridiculous. You know, I used to be a paper boy long. It is ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous? Shouldn't you get paid based on your ability to produce?
Come on, Mike.
Shouldn't you get paid based on your ability to produce?
Mike.
I'm not being rude to you, William. I'm asking you questions. Shouldn't you get a wage based on your ability to produce?
You should. And if I'm producing food for your butt all day long, then I need a living wage.
So you get $50 an hour because you fed me?
I didn't say $50 an hour. You're being sarcastic right now.
Yes, I am. And it's on purpose to show the lunacy of your statements that everybody deserves this huge wage.
You know what? You don't have to give me $50 an hour, but you're going to give me 20. You need to give me 20
Why?
At least something I can feed my family over. Yeah,
is that the value of what you produce because you made a hamburger?
Hamburgers. Yep, I think eating is
really
important. Well, eating, you know, it's a thing called eating that's important to most folks, Mike.
Well, you can stay at home and fix your own damn food.
And I'll tell you something else. That goes back to the same mentality. Like you have a maid at the house, cleaning your house. And that maid works a whole lot harder than you do at the office. Okay? Or you have a cook at the house. And that cook is also double as a maid and also take care of your children. Okay? Yep, that's worth a living wage. It sure is. Because
there's physical work and there's mental work.
What?
There's physical labor, and it takes a certain mental.
It takes a certain mentality to run a household.
William, do you and I do a lot of physical labor anymore? The answer is no. We don't, because we got to a position in life where we've earned everything.
Mike, what I'm saying to you is, if someone happens to only be able to get a job in certain places, and that job has to be at McDonald's for whatever reason. Okay. And they have bad life choices. And they are well, guess what? People
I
change.
have to pay for other people's bad life choices.
Well, you don't know what choice they had. You don't know what those choices were, Mike. You can't just assume anything.
Sure, I
You are
can.
just you're assuming that just because this person is at a low paying job that this person made a bad choice. You don't know what happened to that person.
Chances are.
You're assuming.
Chances are.
And Mike, you're assuming. You're assuming, and you have no right to do that because you don't know.
Sure, I do.
You don't.
Absolutely, I have.
No,
I
nobody does.
absolutely have a right to do that.
You do not. You do not have the right to judge other
Sure, I
people.
do.
When you don't know their
If you made bad choices in your life, then you don't get the.
Well, you
good
don't
paying
know whether they
jobs.
made bad choices or not. You don't know
Sure, I
what
do.
happened to them.
If they made good choices, they wouldn't be working at McDonald's.
Not necessarily. And
Oh,
look at
please.
and look at when there's certain places that closed down when Trump was in the office, or when other presidents were in the office, and they had to take what they could get because the job market was tight.
Because of their bad decisions.
It wasn't for their bad decision.
Sure it was.
Because
if they had the ability,
you're
if
not
they had
paying-
the ability to produce
Mike,
something,
you're not listening to what
other
I'm saying.
companies
Is
would hire them.
the business
If
shut
they had-
down.
William,
The
if they had
business shut
value,
down.
William, if they had value in the marketplace, they would get a good paying job. If you don't
Okay,
have
the
value
job
in the
wasn't a-
marketplace,
you
you're
can't
going to
get a
get a
good paying
crappy
job.
job.
You can't get a good paying job if it's not available, Mike.
Well, you have to
There
have
been
the
times-
ability to
there
get
have
those
been
jobs.
times- There have been
And
times
because you don't
people-
have the ability, you get what you deserve.
you know,
If you
that
don't
is
have the
wrong.
ability to
There are
produce,
certain
you
places-
get what you deserve.
Mike, there are certain places where you can't find, or good jobs are hard. They are scarce.
No, they're
They
not.
are
If you,
scarce. There are
if you have
places
value, if
and-
you
and
have
no-
value in the marketplace,
sure.
it's easy to get a job.
Guess what?
William,
There are
you and I
places-
can go out there right now today, and you and I can get a really good paying job. You and I
Well,
both know
I
that
could.
we can do that. Why?
I could.
Because we have value in the marketplace. If you don't have skills, you don't have knowledge, you don't have ability, guess what you get? You get to flip burgers.
Yeah, well,
Is that
guess
my
what?
fault? No, it's your fault because you made bad life choices, and that's
Right.
why you don't have the ability to produce. And
Well,
if you
guess
don't
what?
have the
There
ability
are
to produce,
people-
you get a crappy job.
Are you
That's-
trying to tell
that's
me
just the
because?
facts.
Are you trying to tell me because somebody made one bad decision that they couldn't turn their life around? And people, this happens every day where people have made. Mike, so now,
Did I make them make the bad decision?
no, and Mike, guess what?
Is it my responsibility if people make
Is it
bad
possible?
decisions?
Is it
Is
possible?
it
that
my
Let me
responsibility?
ask you a question, Mike. Is it possible that you and I, growing up, that we made some decisions that weren't so?
Oh, I made a ton that are bad.
Okay. Now the difference is we didn't get caught.
Oh, I got caught too.
Okay, but
Not
it
anything
didn't.
big, but
It didn't
I got
come.
spanked along the way.
Well, it didn't come at your detriment where it cost you the ability to get a job.
Because
Okay.
I learned my lesson young.
Oh,
That,
well,
that was
guess
dumb
what?
stuff. I shouldn't
Some
do dumb
people
stuff.
it takes a little bit longer. Okay,
Is
but
that
what
my
I'm
fault?
saying is, what I'm saying is, in this country, in the United States of America, there's more money here than anywhere. And the last time I checked, Mike, do you know right now people are crying about the economy? They're talking about this and then other. Do you know that the United States right now is doing better, heads and shoulders are better than any G7 country out here? Do you know? I'm talking about jobs. I'm talking about inflation. I'm talking about employment. We are doing better. The GDP, gross domestic product, is better than any other country on this planet. Did you know that? Okay.
I doubt that.
Well, you can doubt all you want.
I
have
look it
facts.
up. That's your answer to everything. Look it
I
up.
did look it up. You look it up.
Yeah,
I
well,
did look it up.
again. Yeah, I get to look it up.
Yeah. Well, I've already looked it up. If you don't
Well,
believe me,
I doubt that what you're looking at is fact.
well, then I tell you what. Then look it up for yourself. Then. All right, Mr. Smarty, look it up for yourself. All right, I know what I'm talking
You
about.
don't think China's making more money GDP than America?
I know they aren't. I know they aren't.
Really?
That's a fact. That's exactly right. Like I said, the United States GDP is higher than anybody's in the world.
I doubt that.
Well, why don't you look it
No,
up,
I'm
Mike?
not going to go look it up because.
Oh, go ahead. I tell you what. I tell you what. I dare you.
Because
I-
reality tells me that's not true.
Okay, I tell you what. I dare you to look it up. I dare you. Go on. Okay. Well, then guess what? If you're not going to look it up, then you can't even comment on it because I know and you don't. This is what I'm trying to tell you, my friend. If you don't want to look it up, then you have nothing to say. All right. That's exactly right.
No, common sense tells me it's not true.
Well, Mike, guess what?
China sells stuff all over the world. Their
The
GDP.
United States sells stuff all over the world. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm telling you what I know. Mike, you going
China
on?
sells more
Mike,
stuff
you know,
than
there's
the
a word.
US. I guarantee
There's a
you.
word. There's a word called conjecture. You know what that means?
Yes.
All right, that's what you're doing. Well, I'm giving facts.
No,
You
I'm talking about the
you
reality.
land.
I'm talking about
No,
sanity here.
I'm giving you facts. Okay,
Your
prove me
facts.
wrong. Prove me
Your
wrong,
facts.
buddy.
All your facts are really true. All your facts? I don't believe that.
Well, you don't have to. I don't care. What I'm saying, I don't care. All I'm saying is I'm giving facts, and you relying on conjecture. And Mike, I tell you, no, you put up a good argument, but you're wrong. You are dead wrong. And I do think that people deserve a living wage. There should not be any
Based on their ability to produce.
Mike, I don't want to hear
Based on
the
their
garbage.
market value.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. There should be no starvation in this country. There should be no homelessness in this country at all.
I
This
agree
is
with you on that, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, hands
And
down.
then-
I absolutely agree with you on that.
Okay, so the only way to keep that from doing that, and I'm gonna tell you something, and the only way to keep that from happening is make sure that people have a living wage. A lot of crime, folks, out here is based on the fact that people have given up, and they think that the only way they can get ahead is to commit crimes, which is absolutely wrong, because you end up in a worse situation than you were in the first place. Okay, but I'm telling you, we could do a lot of good in this country if we didn't allow the super wealthy to take all the cream off the crop, off the top, okay, and not pass any down. There was a thing, and with the other administration, they were talking about the trickle down effect. You know, a lot of people are still waiting for the trickle. They are waiting for the trickle because that money does not. Look, Mike.
How did the super wealthy become super wealthy?
Because they kept themselves up there by deceiving.
Because they worked hard and they produced.
No,
they had market value.
They produced.
They had value. And because they had value, they moved up and they moved up and they stair-stepped up until where they made a lot of money. And now you're going to punish. Now you're going to punish them for their hard work.
No, hard work. No, Mike. They are benefiting off the backs of others.
How did they get there? How did they get there?
Well, guess what? If I have a business, okay, I have some money. Okay, let's say I have some money. Okay, but now you worked hard, you went to school, but I have the money. Okay, and then what's going to happen? You're going to work for me, and you're going to produce for me, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to take 80% of the money
because I built the business. Because I built the business.
It doesn't mean that I'm smarter.
I built the business. I deserve.
You didn't build anything. Your great granddaddy gave it to you. It passed down through generations. This is what happened. Let's be real right now.
Generational wealth.
Generational wealth. Your great granddaddy, okay,
yeah, the Rothschilds
gave it to you. Gave it to you. Okay,
True.
All right. Pass it down. So you got the money, and that gave you the money to buy the business, to have the business. So now you've got 100% profits coming in. You taking 80%, and you go take that maybe 15, 20%, and you're gonna just give it out to your employees, right? All right. Then they're gonna have to pay taxes on that money. They're gonna have to do a whole lot of things, take care of their family, stuff like that. And they may never get to the point where they can own their own business, okay, to give you some competition. So what's happening in this country? You've got the super wealthy that has inherited tons and tons and tons of money, which gives them all the control. That means they control everything. And then what they also do is that they also control the politicians to keep things to their advantage.
That's
exactly
I'm agreeing with you. Holy smokes.
Oh, yeah. You know,
I'm agreeing with you.
I know. It's about time. It's about time. Okay?
Well, now you're talking about facts.
Oh, yeah, I am. Yeah, and this is exactly right. And so this thing with and see, this is something else. The United States bailed out and gave, oh my God, what you want to call it? Oh my God, subsidies to the airline industry. Remember that? I'm talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars. They gave subsidies to the oil industry. How much sense does that make?
Can I answer?
Yes, sir.
Because if those industries failed,
Hmm.
what would be the domino effect that would happen to the rest of America? If you couldn't fly somewhere, or you didn't have gasoline made from oil, you couldn't drive anywhere, you couldn't fly anywhere. What would be the long-term effects of that domino? If these things failed, everything else, it'd be like a house of cards. Everything else would fall. So what happened was they bailed them out because they knew that if they didn't, that everything else would fall apart. Am I right?
Yes, you're right about that.
Okay.
You're right about
Oh,
it.
you're
Now,
agreeing with. See,
no, I agree with you.
good
It
deal.
would fall apart. Now, let's get back. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Then I say that the bailout wasn't absolutely necessary because still, when you talk about the CEOs walking away with $300 million of these airlines, okay, or the oil company, good Lord, you're right. If they hadn't bailed them out because these greedy bastards, okay, was keeping all the money, and the oil industry, they've got money. They could have worked this out themselves, but because of the greed and the amount of money that they were keeping for themselves, okay, and they weren't giving it up, the United States felt, okay, I cannot let this industry fail. You're right, because it would devastate the economy. You have to have air travel, okay? You have to have the oil industry, okay? There are a lot of other industries that we are dependent on. But what I'm saying is, if they had managed their business properly, then the United States wouldn't have to bail them out. So I don't want to hear about someone, if you're going to build out this mega industry, don't tell me about and being apprehensive about giving people a living wage. Mike, nobody should be making $300 million a year for being a CEO. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I've worked for major corporations before. The CEO does nothing. He does nothing. He's a figurehead. His management can come in. He will say, okay, what about project A, B, and C? Come back and tell me what you got. And you have the other people, lower level people, okay, or his upper management, they come down, they pass that information down to their subordinates, all right? They figure it all out, okay, pass it on up the chain, and then they come and hand this report on the CEO's desk. He said, okay, boss, we can go with A, B, or C. He said, okay. All right, John, what do you think? Or I think B will work. Okay, good. Uh, I tell my wife that I'll be a little bit late. I have to, getting home, and it's 2 o'clock in the evening. The CEOs,
No, he's got a meeting. He's got a board.
he's got a meeting.
He's got a board.
I've worked for CEOs, and the thing about it is absolutely sickening because the people just below them treat them like they're some type of royalty, and they do absolutely nothing. And some of them are dumber than some are dumber than a box of rocks.
Can I tell you a secret, William? Don't let this out. All
That
you
I'm like-
listeners, you turn it off for a minute because I got to tell William a secret. Don't tell anybody, William.
Uh-huh.
Life is not fair.
There's a book called The Road Less Traveled. I don't know if you read that book or not, Mike.
I haven't read it, but I'm aware of it.
There's a passage in that book that says, life has never meant to be fair. Life is just life. And I said, whoa. And I tell you what, in many ways, it opened my eyes. Life is not meant to be fair. Life is just life. And it tells me, yeah, anything could happen. And it's something you said earlier, and it is that we have to be prepared. We have to, and I'm paraphrasing what you said, and this is one time I agree with you too, that we do have to make better choices. We do have to do things that's going to make our lives better and not dependent on someone else. We do have to find ways to maybe get a better job or
Create your own value.
create your own value and stuff like that. Given, now, if the playing field is fair, that can work. In
Life is not fair.
in some situations, yeah, I know. Life is just life. Life is just life. So that's why we do have to take more responsibility ourselves for ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
I have to agree with that.
Is it well, you know part of my finances. I have stuff well beyond what you are aware of. But
I'm aware.
But I made good choices. I planned accordingly. Prior proper planning to prevent piss poor performance. And that's what I've done throughout my life. And I've reaped the benefits of what I've done and the seeds that I sowed. So why would it be fair? Because I made really good life choices and I didn't make a whole lot of bad life choices. Why would it be fair for other people to benefit off of my back because I made good choices and they made bad choices? That's the point I'm trying to make here. If you want to have market value, if you want to have the ability to get a job anywhere where you go, then you have to have market value, which means you need education, the ability to produce. And you shouldn't get a handout, not a hand up. There's a difference between a helping hand, and a handout. You shouldn't get a handout because you made bad choices and you don't have market value.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you 100%. And you're right. And now also,
damn, that's twice today.
I know we're breaking a record here, folks. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But but think about this also, Mike. You had good mentors. You had good teachers, which happen to be your parents too.
True.
See, you have to understand that a lot of people didn't have the benefit that you and I had. Even though I didn't grow up in a wealthy family, I grew up with a mother that taught me, number one, right
Beat
from
some
wrong.
sense into you.
See, you're gonna go there.
Of course, I'm going to.
Yeah, she did. I'll never forget it. You won't let me forget it either. But anyway, but one thing about it was she said, "Oh, this is one thing that she said. I'll always take it with me, Mike." She said, "If you do right, if you do the right thing will follow you. If you do right, right will
Bless
follow
her.
you."
Bless her. She's right.
And I mean, wise. I mean, just extremely, extremely wise and strong. A very, 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 very strong person, right? As a matter of fact, I was more afraid of her than I was my father.
Yeah, you should be. You should have been too.
To be
That
honest.
mama bear comes out. Oh, look out. You better run for cover.
See, this is the thing about it. And is that, oh yeah, because I can't remember the type of punishment coming from my dad that I got from my mom. And her excuse, yep, mom, I'm gonna call it an excuse. She said, one thing she used to say, this is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. I said, what the hell?
It's going to hurt her hand. So while we're on this, I would like to point out an opposite.
What is that?
Which is I had really good mentors, I had really good parents, and I'm truly blessed in my life all the way around. I'm so
Absolutely.
thankful and so happy for the life that I have, and gosh, I don't take it for granted. Now, I'm going to show you the other side of the spectrum, and you're going to hate this one, William. It's going to make your head explode.
Please, not.
J.D. Vance.
Oh Lord.
Grew up with a single mother who was a drug addict, and he had to overcome all of that. He had a horrible upbringing, and this occurs in other families too, not just J.D. Vance. But what did he do with his life? He did something with it. He educated himself. He became a Marine. He fought for this country, and he did some wonderful things that pushed him to the level where he's at now. Now, I know you don't like him, and that's fine. I'm not saying I'm supporting him, but this is a man that went from nothing to something, to where he's actually running for the vice president of the United States at this point. So don't tell me that you can't overcome the injustices and your upbringing. It does happen, and it happens in black families, white families, Hispanic. It happens everywhere across the spectrum. You can choose to do something with your life, or you can go flip burgers at McDonald's because you're lazy and you don't. And I'm not saying I got to be real careful here. I'm not saying that people that flip burgers at McDonald's are lazy. I'm saying those are entry level jobs, and you need to step it up. If you want to be CEO and you want to make millions of dollars, educate yourself and work hard, and you'll get there. Just like JD Vance made something of himself, and he came from nothing. So it is possible. Don't tell me that you can't do it.
Right. You know, I'm gonna agree with you.
That's 3 times today, William.
No, it's 4. I've been counting.
Okay.
4 times. I'm gonna agree with you on that. Except for, I wish you had given us a better example, because JD Vance, and 4 years ago, I would have been like his biggest cheerleader almost, because that's when he had some damn sense. And you're right though, he did. No matter what you think about him right now, he did pull himself up from nothing. But 4 years ago, he showed some real decency. He showed some decency, and now, like I said, now he has resulted. I think he has tarnished himself, not discounting his accomplishments. I do agree with you on his accomplishments, Mike. But now he has.
Well, that's why I picked him as an example.
But now, yeah, but now he's tarnished himself with lying. He didn't have to do that, Mike. He didn't have to do that.
Where did he lie?
Well, 4 years ago, he said that Trump was America's Hitler. He said that he was not fit for office. I mean, he said everything against.
So that's a lie, or did he change his mind? Is that a lie?
No, that was the truth.
Okay,
but that was the truth.
Where did he lie?
But he changed his. But recently he's been changing his mind. And
Where's the
has
lie?
Flipped. He has totally flipped, Mike.
Where's the lie?
He had lied. Now he's talking about that. No, Trump is not America's Hitler. When he said it 4 years ago,
he changed his mind. That's not a lie.
Oh, really? Okay. So the next time a Democrat changes her mind, like VP Harris, when she changes her mind. Now, what happened is,
it's not a lie. She changed her mind.
Over time, we out of time. Oh my God. Over time,
it's not a lie, though, William. They just changed their mind. Tell me, JD Vance's lie. I'll wait.
Well, he's lying now because he's saying that Trump is not. When he started talking about what Trump did not say, that America, we have the enemy from within here in America. He just denied that the other day. And Trump did say it. Trump said it.
Yeah, and it's true.
And Trump talking about the enemy from within. Well,
okay, so where's the lie?
Well, he's saying that Trump didn't say it. That's the lie. Trump did say it.
He didn't. They took it out of context, is what he's saying.
I'm going to tell you another lie. I'm going to tell you another lie.
Out of context.
When J.D. Vance was on stage talking about the Haitians eating cats and dogs, he admitted that he lied on that. He admitted that. He told Dana Bash that, Dana, if I have to make up stories to get you to cover this, then that's what I'm going to do. So she said, so you made this up? He said, Dana, if I have to make up stories to get you guys, get the media to cover this, that's what I'm going to do. Mike, I got to go. Tonight is Jazz's birthday. Well, no, her birthday was the 11th of October. And I called you last week because I want you to just come in for a second or so to say happy birthday. She's celebrating for the rest of the month. This is her last show during the month. If you got a minute or two or something like that, come and just say hi. It will make her
tonight.
Day. Yeah, it will make her day.
I will make time. You betcha.
Okay, very good.
Absolutely, I will.
Hey, buddy. Wow, this is good. See, this is good. And
I gotta open the windows. There's a lot of